I've got the looks and the charm of an old movie star. Cary Grant, if you will, so I find it bizarre that this girl should refuse to step into my car. She must be shy, she'll come around, it's just a matter of time. Aurora, Aurora.
Hey there, Screen Beans, and welcome to Screen Snark, the podcast that celebrates all of the shows that are in our eyes, on our minds, and in our hearts. I am Rachel, quirky Shank, walkable distance from a Wawa.
And I am Matt, a.k.a. Stormageddon. I almost stepped on your intro again. I
It's
should
okay.
learn by now.
Sometimes I have something, sometimes I don't. And when I am literally a walkable distance from a Wawa, that is worth putting on my CV.
I mean, yes, absolutely.
Oh my gosh. They have the gobbler in stock, which is
Excuse
like their
me?
Thanksgiving sandwich.
I'm sorry.
Ooh, it's turkey and cranberry sauce.
Not
and
what I thought
stuffing
not what I
on
thought
a
the gobbler
hoagie.
was.
So good. This episode not sponsored by Wawa.
No, absolutely not. But Wawa, if
Yeah.
you want to sponsor us, like let
Wawa,
us know.
get at us.
Get at us.
I love you. You're always an adventure to me. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm good. I'm very excited about our incredible guest, the incredible Ty Galiz-Rowe. Ty, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
I am excited to talk about all the cool stuff that Ty is doing. Ty is co-workers with a previous guest, the incredible Jessica Howard, over at Uppercut, and so much more. But before we get into all of that and talk about Ty's incredible, badass gaming-related career, we are going to jump into the things we've been watching, and I will, as always, go first. One of these days I may not, but today is not that day.
Today's not that day. Despite me being a walkable distance from a Wawa,
Wawa,
right now.
yeah.
And next
Is this
to
the
a Basset
Wawa?
Hound.
Is this the Wawa cinematic universe?
Hello, welcome to the Wawa cast.
The Wawa cast. Oh, good Lord, help us. I hope our listeners are still here. I actually am really excited to talk about the show that I brought. And I don't know if y'all have seen it, but it is a show called Only Murders in the Building.
Oh, the one that keeps telling me about itself on Twitter.
Someone
yeah.
was just talking to me about this show like 3 hours ago.
It's a show starring Selena Gomez, Martin Short, and Steve Martin, and it is about the loose premise is it's about these three podcast fans who meet up when the newest episode of their favorite podcast comes out while they're kind of kicked out of their building. The fire alarm's been pulled and they don't know why. But so they get up and they become friends. They're listening to this podcast at the restaurant. And then they find out that someone in their building has been murdered. And so they decide to do the podcast they're fans of, by the way, is like one of those like real life, like, you know, crime.
Like
True
a
crime.
my favorite
True
murder
crime, yeah.
or something.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a true podcast, a crime story.
Yeah. And so they decide we should make a podcast. And Steve Martin plays semi-retired, like old school like cop drama actor. Martin Short plays the theater producer. And then Selena Gomez kind of is more of an enigma. Like we don't really know what she does. And the funny thing is the faux podcast that they're a fan of that's happening in the show is hosted by Tina Fey, and she plays like a NPR type, like it's very good.
Oh no!
And so we watched the season finale yesterday. Me and my spouse is the we I'm referring to, and it's great. It doesn't pull punches at making fun of podcasters and like making fun of people who like podcasts, which is it's really good. Yeah, ow. And it's really funny. And I mean, I'm a big fan of Steve Martin and Martin Short. I've been for a while, and I've always liked Selena Gomez, her music and her acting. And so to see the three of them, she also keeps up with them like at a comedy pace. Like she doesn't miss a step with them, which is so cool to see. But it's really good. If you like murder mysteries and if you like comedies and if you like podcasts, it's a really great show. It's got a great guest cast. It feels very New York in the way that the show, like, because this all happens at an apartment building that's like one of those high-rise apartment buildings. I can't recall. I think it actually takes place in New York, but it has that New York vibe. Like as a New Yorker, I feel like they're calling me out on shit that I wasn't expecting. And
ouch! This one's got so many ouches.
Many ouches.
Podcaster, podcast lover, lives in New York. Yikes!
But it's really good. And it just wrapped, and it seems like they're going to get a next season. It ends on a cliffhanger. I won't spoil it, but it's
So you
just,
don't find out who the murderer is in the first season?
No, you do.
Oh, okay. Whew.
You do. But it has a lot of twists and turns, which I really like. And they do a lot of false, like, aha, we found the person. And then they kind of throw a curveball, and like Nathan Lane is in it. They do something really cool also later in the season. There is a deaf character played by a deaf actor, and they do an episode from his perspective. And so you can't hear anything unless he's not in the scene. They do minimal sound throughout the episode, and it's a really interesting way to like portray that perspective from that character. I don't want to get into the details of why, who the character is, but it was a really unique thing to do, and it was a way to put this deaf actor at the forefront. There's a lot of sign language, and it was a really cool, unique way to see an episode of a murder mystery.
I like that.
And so I wanted to shout that out. But yeah, I think it's great. It's on Hulu. So if you have Hulu, that's how you can watch it. It just ended. The last episode aired, I think, yesterday. We watched it yesterday. I think it aired yesterday also. But yeah, if you have Hulu and you like murder mysteries and comedies and, shenanigans, it's totally worth watching.
Hey, are you a fan of murder? Are you a masochist who loves podcasts and listening to podcasts and making podcasts, and you live in New York? This is that right kind of pain, baby.
It did feel very targeted at me. Like, I'm like, oh, because also, Ty might not know this, but my spouse produces podcasts as well. And so it was just like a lot of the humor it felt very specific. But I was like, this is funny to me. I hope it's funny to the general audience too. So that's Only Murders in the Building. I don't really want to talk too much detail about the plot because I think it's worth watching. I think there's only 10 episodes and they're all half hours. So it's like, it's a quick, fun
speedy
show. And like, there are a lot of character actors that I've never seen before that do such a great job. It's a very diverse cast. There's queer couples in it as well. And like, it's not just like the two white guys are the whitest characters on the whole show. The rest of the show is pretty diverse, which I also appreciated and noticed immediately. Because, I love Steve Martin and Martin Short, but, they're two old white guys. So I tend to worry when two old white guys are at the forefront. But no, they did a really good job with diversifying the cast as well.
I take that. Also, definitely more true to an apartment building in New York or in most metropolis areas. Like,
yeah,
it's kind of the deal. Like,
oh, I should give
we can't make them all friends. We can't. Friends is not a real depiction of New York.
Absolutely not.
No, get out. Who would have that apartment? Doesn't exist. We made it up.
Also, I should shout, like, obviously, trigger warning for, like, murder and stuff like that, if you're sensitive to that.
What?
There isn't a lot of gore.
There's murders in the building? But
there is pet death in the first episode.
Ooh,
you don't see it, but you, like, hear about it. And so, like, I want to give that content warning as well, because I know that's like a no-go for some of my friends.
I like that I cringed about that, and I've consistently been watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, the most animal killingest anime I have ever seen. And I was like, oh, they kill it. Ooh, in that show? Oh, no, because it's not animated. It feels real.
Of all the things I've ever heard about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, animal killingest show is not one of them.
Like so many. Like, I love JoJo. It's absolutely bug nuts, and it is great. You can't do better for an anime about beefy boys and beefy girls with generational trauma. You love it, but also like, holy socks, they kill a lot of dogs.
Okay, noted. I'll keep that in
So
mind if I
many.
ever watch it.
Horribly too. Not even just like, oh, bye. It's bad. It's bad.
Okay. All right.
I'm getting everyone prepped for my show by talking about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and all of the dog death. It's cool.
Okay. Oh, great.
Don't anyone panic. I'm priming everyone.
But yeah, so I recommend it. I think it's definitely worth a watch because it's got a great cast and it's a really good story. And I am someone who's good at figuring out murder mysteries, and it kept me guessing pretty much until the last couple episodes.
You didn't solve it?
No, I'm I wasn't smart enough to solve it.
That's okay. Honestly, I think that there is an issue with mystery craft at this point, especially with like the impact of like binge TV and like the internet, where it almost feels like people don't want to have a mystery that they can solve because they feel cheated if they do solve it. So like I think a lot of times when you're encountering sort of like mystery properties in this time, they're like intentionally confusing because people get mad when they figure it out. And then I always remember, and I'm sorry to derail us on talk about J.R.R. Martin, or George R.R. Martin, not J.R.R.
You're combining.
Well, I mean, George planned it. He chose R.R. for a very specific reason.
Sure.
Obviously. But talking about not shying away from when your audience is smart enough to get your thing. Like there was an interview he did where he was talking about, if I lay the seeds that the butler did it and the audience discovers that the butler did it, it is my duty to see through to the end that yes, the butler did do it and not change it at the last second because they figured it out, and I think that's part of the thing, part of the fun, I guess. Like, let's make it an unsolvable mystery, but I want to solve it. But I know, personally, I just like to go on the ride.
Me too.
I didn't even try to solve Knives Out. I was just like, I'm here.
I had no idea.
I'm ready.
So, like,
I'm
the last
excited.
minute, I had no clue.
The best. Well, Matt.
Yes.
If you had to describe Only Murders in the Building in just 3 words, and you can't use only murders in the or building to describe it, how would you do so? How would you encapsulate this piece into brevity?
The 3 words I would use are death, podcasts, and laughs.
Okay, I like it.
Just descriptive across the board.
I got a little miffed they used death when like murders was off the table, but it's fine.
They're not the same word.
It's true, they're not the same word, but they're the same vibe.
They are the same vibe. Rachel,
Death
what is the
podcast?
The death podcast.
Laughs.
Laughs.
So that death podcast, a barrel of laughs. Let me tell you.
What's the most recent thing you have watched, Rachel?
Ooh, well, mine is definitely a barrel of laughs. Now I would like to. I want to preface here very quickly that as of this recording, there is a Netflix walkout. A lot of the workers at Netflix did not like, disagreed, found some material harm in a show. I'm not going to talk about it because I don't want to talk. I've talked about it on other podcasts, but if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. But the thing that I watched is from Netflix, but I finished it before the walkout, so please don't at me. I stand with the workers fighting for equity and inclusion and a respectful dialogue around existing as a person. But I brought Squid Game. Right. Take that, Squid Game. I have been slowly working my way through Squid Game and finally finished it. And I loved it. I thought it was phenomenal and demented and colorful and awful and wonderful.
I have yet to see it. Ty, have you seen Squid Game?
I have not yet.
Yeah, I keep hearing things about it, and I'm like, I should probably watch this, but I haven't gotten to it, and now I'm not going to.
And now it's like, we've got so much work to do to get back on board with the old badoom, if you know what I mean. But Squid Game, absolutely great. Some call it junk TV. I will agree. Some call it absolutely brilliant. I will also agree. It's like the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup of television. Yes, It is junk food, but it is crafted junk food, and I could not get enough of it. I will definitely not spoil Squid Game, but it deals a lot with the harsh conditions of those in the working class struggling with a lot of debt. And a league of about 450 working class folk are invited into a game, and they play childhood games to win money to pay off their debt. but it is not the kind of like innocent games that you would imagine. They have very dire consequences for losing. And that's where I'll leave it for now. It is out of South Korea. There is a dub version and there is a subtitled version. I would recommend the subtitled version. I have heard not great things about the voice acting, and also I may watch dubs for anime, but like they get the musicality of like the lip moves a lot better because there's a lot more fungible nature in the way like a cartoon mouth might move around a word versus like a human mouth that is got a lot more like nuance and differentiation between sounds, and it really like doesn't serve the piece to hear like English language coming out of a mouth that is very obviously not speaking the English language. And plus I think that the actors in the native tongue are so very good. The lead who plays a character named I'm gonna get this wrong and I'm gonna do my best, Gi Hung. I'm sorry everyone. But our lead, who has a gambling problem, has an ailing mother who is paying to support him, absolutely does one of the most wild protagonist turns, because when you first meet him, he definitely has that vibe of like, I don't love this guy. I don't love what he does. I don't love how he behaves, but how quickly he becomes like the beating heart of this group of people in this like wild game scenario is absolutely staggering. My only critique of it is there is a twist ending, and I do not think that twist ending served me in the way that I wanted it to. Okay. And I think it kind of missed some interesting discussions around class warfare and what desperate people will do to one another in order to save themselves, rid themselves of poverty. You know, it's, and a lot of think pieces have been written about how it's not anti-capitalist, but like you can definitely read it that way, especially in the way that like the players of the game relate to each other, relate to the people that run the game, and also relate to the people that are sort of the guards that like oversee the game and enact like the feeding and the punishment and all of that, because it very quickly turns into how much solidarity is needed and how hard that is to get when the higher ups are like literally pitting you against each other for like massive amounts of money. It rules. It's such a great like weird, like almost sci-fi, because like who would have this kind of like access to do this? How is this legal, you know? But it's great. It really just, it paints a portrait of the struggle of the impoverished. And, you know, even though like many of the people we see along the way are not good people, you know that like their struggle is real because they're here and this is dire. And like, what do you do when it's so dire? When you don't have the ability to connect to one another, because like literally the forces above you are pitting you against each other time after time after time in more and more disturbing and demented ways. I loved it. I hope everybody dresses up as Squid Game characters for Halloween, because like also it's so beautiful. Like the color palette that they put into this like game world is like pastel. The players are in this really like pleasant green jumpsuit. Their quarters are like a little gymnasium, and it's got little like stick figure people playing games and a bunch of bunk beds, and sort of like their transition room from like their holding area to the game area is like this pastel candy color like MC Escher painting of just like stairwells and doorways, and all of the game sets are so pretty. I can't believe how like these like terrifying games are so beautiful to look at, like so rich in color. It was like it's literally like a Reese's, because like it's probably not good for me, but it was sweet and delicious, and also like probably mostly garbage. It's not garbage though. I thought it was great. just I can't go into it anymore. And it's like, but the game, that one game where they do and they're in this one place, and it's like each of the games is so interesting in the way that it like shifts the interpersonal relationships, the power dynamics. Like,
right.
They might be playing one game that you think is really based on like being strong, and you kind of find that like, no, there are other ways to get around this, or the way that they play the games is also really interesting, and like to make this situation so dire and watch people be so like inventive and full of ingenuity. So cool. I loved it. Can you tell? I loved it. I would never watch it again. It's horrifying, but I loved it.
It's funny.
It's so pretty and terrifying.
It's funny. My only context for Squid Game is the memes and everyone trying to compare it to either Splatoon or SpongeBob with like,
which it's
Squidward.
not.
But well, right. But it's like,
I thought the same thing. I was like, Splatoon, the TV show, and then you finish that first episode, you're like, oh no.
I mean, it's literally the one step joke of this is a squid. It's a Squid Game.
Also, the color palette really like lends to that sort of Splatoon, because it's got that same like candy coated color palette that Splatoon has. Like the colors are super rich. The pinks are really pink. The greens are really green. And just like that juxtaposition between like life outside the game and life inside the game, also so cool. Some really neat stuff they did, and some really like interesting ways to up the ante of like childhood games.
Interesting. I'll have to check it out. It's been on my list. My spouse watched it without me. Womp womp. So I'll get to it eventually. She did ask though. Like this was a case of she just watched it without me, which
maybe she can spoil this one for you to get you back for spoiling Steven Universe for her.
Maybe. Yeah, that would be fair. Well, Rachel,
it wouldn't though. Oh boy.
I mean,
oh boy.
Look, I would take that hit if I had to. But all right, Rachel, if you had to describe Squid Game, give it a 3-word review without using the word squid or game.
Okay.
What 3 words would you use to describe this show?
I'm going to use a hyphenate, okay?
Okay.
Candy coated, class struggle.
Okay. I like that. Well
and that's not spoilery at all. I highly recommend Squid Game. Hope you can find it to watch some other place besides Badoom.
Yeah.
Right now.
We don't support pirating, but also pirate it if you have to. All right.
Pirate it, but like find the creatives and just give them money directly.
Exactly. Just send them some money. There you go.
Send them money.
Send them money. Well, now it is time for our awesome guest, Ty. Ty, what is the most recent thing that you have watched?
So I watched *Malignant*.
Ooh.
Yeah, which is the James Wan horror flick that just came out last month. It's a film.
It's I was about to say I have not seen it. Oh, sorry. There's a cuckoo clock in here. It is now the half hour. Huzzah! Now we've been at this for at least half an hour. I won't ask you to try and describe *Malignant*. I haven't seen it, but it sounds indescribable.
Yeah.
How did you enjoy it, Ty?
It's a very fun movie to watch. I think as like when my critic brain started getting into it, I was like, there were a lot of things that like didn't work for me. But it's a very entertaining film. I had fun watching it.
And it's a horror film, yeah?
Oh yeah.
Are you a horror movie fan?
I do like horror movies, yeah. It's very, very like B-movie horror and like very aggressive body horror. So like people who are not down for like bones crunching around and like gross body stuff like shouldn't watch it.
It's weird that that's the kind of horror movie I can get into. I'm like, ooh, yeah, gory, I'm in. I've heard reviews from that run the gambit from like it's really, really great and inventive and interesting to like this is not movie. This is not movie. What are you doing?
It's definitely a movie. I've certainly seen worse films.
Ooh. Yeah.
It's like I don't know. It's hard because it's like very clearly trying to emulate shitty, like in a fun way, horror films. And it has a lot of really interesting like camera work and shots, especially in the way that like shots are framed to kind of build into the reveals that you get later in the movie. I think it's just like, it's hard because it is like touching on themes and stuff, but like it's not really interested in like digging into them. They're just kind of like a side thing to what the movie is trying to do overall, which is not a bad thing, but it wasn't really like what I wanted. So yeah, I don't know. It's fun. I think it's worth watching if you enjoy horror movies.
Was it you who I saw, or it must have been someone in the gaming sphere, but somebody compared it to Kingdom Hearts? Was that you?
That was me, yeah.
That was you. Okay. Like, that's what piqued my interest, because I am a Kingdom Hearts fan. And, like, I was like, huh, interesting.
A James Wan horror joint. It's kind of like Kingdom Hearts, you know?
Yeah, there's like... I wrote a piece about it because there's a specific storyline in Kingdom Hearts 3 that's like very similar to the main plot of Malignant.
Really interesting.
But I think that Kingdom Hearts does it better.
Yes, all right.
So
that's fascinating.
Finally. I'm here for vindication for Kingdom Hearts. Thank you.
I mean, I know that a lot of folks didn't like 3. Did you like 3, Ty?
yeah, it wasn't like the ending of the Xehanort saga that I wanted, but like,
Right, same.
I cried a lot, so it was fine.
Yeah. It's funny when they announced Sora for Smash Brothers recently. I didn't get emotional at first, and then I watched my friend and future guest of the show, Cam Hawkins, like lose his mind live on stream, and I was like, oh, okay, now I'm feeling it, because I could feel his excitement.
Yeah, I felt that way when my partner lost their mind when Sora showed up, because I've only played a little bit of Kingdom Hearts, so like I'm not super familiar. I like what I played, but like to watch them just like light up, I was like, oh, this is gonna be a big deal for people, isn't it? I'm so glad. It's not Waluigi, but fine. But fine.
But fine.
Fine. One day.
Did you see Malignant in the theaters?
No, I watched it in my home.
In your home. Do you find that horror movies are scarier at home or at the theater? Or does it not matter?
It depends on the theater, because I have watched horror movies in some pretty like fucking cursed horror like theaters. So that does make it scarier. But usually I think watching them at home is scarier, because usually they're about homes being fucked up. And then you gotta be in your home after.
Are you one of those people who, like, after watching a horror movie in the dark at night, you're like, is someone here? Am I gonna die?
Kind of. Like, I know logically that I'm fine, but I'm like, but maybe that fucked up guy is here. Who knows?
Oh yeah, I gotta just really quickly open my shower curtain, because if I do it fast, then I'll surprise the killer, and then I'll get the upper hand. You know?
Yeah, and it's just like, you know, it's never really like, I'm not worried about like human killers, but half the time I'm like, man, we don't know. What if there is like the fucked up monster from It Follows? Like, you don't know.
Yeah, I always said I cannot cotton to demon shit. Like, no way. That's a realm I do not understand and do not want to touch. Don't mess with demons.
Yeah, but so when you go to the theater, you can then leave the theater, and then you leave the scary things at the theater.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say for me, not that anyone asked, but you know, not that anyone cares here.
Oh, stop it.
Though that I think it is a difference in intensity. Because I don't like watching horror movies in the theater, because like everybody else being scared makes me a lot more scared. Like I feed on that energy. So like I find horror movies absolutely unbearable to get through. I can't do haunted houses for the same reason. But at home, it's like a slow burn that lasts longer, where it's like, oh, I'm going to be scared for like 4 or 5 hours. After, like at a low key scare, like I'm opening the shower curtain, I'm making sure all my doors are locked, I'm just turning on lights before I even walk in the room with my eyes closed. Like I'm like, if I turn on the light, then I'm not looking. I'll get the upper hand on the killer, I guess. None of it makes sense.
None of it's logical.
But so, and also, like, I don't like feeling scared.
The thing that used to fuck me up when I was younger is, because I don't go to the movies late anymore, but when I was still growing up in Staten Island, like, I would go to the one movie theater we had late at night, see a horror movie, and then it's like, after, like 1 a.m., there's no one in the theater except a few staff people, and all you can hear is, like, the hum of the vending machines. And that would, like, freak me the hell out because it would just be the raw silence.
It was the worst. Gosh. Oh no. I'm in the middle of New Jersey. I'm never walking to the Wawa now. I'm too scared. My chance is gone.
Would you recommend this movie for folks who like horror movies, or for anyone?
I definitely would not recommend it for anyone. I think just because it's like very purposely playing with like horror stuff, like horror tropes and horror history, I think you just get more out of it if you're kind of versed in that stuff. And to like, if you don't like being scared or you don't like over the top like campy bullshit, like this movie's just not gonna be for you, which I think is like the people who are like, no, Malignant is dumb and bad, like I think that's probably where they're coming from.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, if you had to sum up Malignant in just 3 words without the word malignant, how would you summarize this movie?
Campy body horror.
Campy body horror. All
Perfect.
right. Right on the nose. Love it. Well, thank you for that, Ty. Ty, I'm so excited to have you on the show.
Also, sorry, listeners, we all watch things that have heavy spoilers this time, and we're just like moving at a clip.
But I do want to talk about Uppercut, which which our listeners are versed with, and we've had previous folks. We stand. You are the editor-in-chief and one of the founders, or the founder of Uppercut.
I am the founder, but folks came relatively soon after.
Cool. So talk a little bit about like why Rachel and I know, but talk a little bit about why this site is different in the gaming space and why it's important, and kind of how you came to like create this space for queerness in gaming.
Well, part of why we're different is because, we're indie, so like we don't have to, like, obviously traffic is a thing that affects all websites to some degree, but we are not beholden to a company that is telling us like you have to hit this many views or whatever, which is a blessing and a curse because we don't have the same resources that something like that would, but it also means that we get to basically do whatever we want, which we do, and that
hell yeah
ranges from me writing about why Kingdom Hearts 3 did it better than Malignant. It is, harder hitting stuff like Jess's piece about why the mature romance options in Persona 5 are pretty fucked up. We have all kinds of stuff. And then we have a couple podcasts. And I guess it's the whole thing started, I guess, because, when I was getting into like games media coming out of college, I was like starting to listen to gaming podcasts and stuff, and I was like, oh, there's like a lot of straight people doing this, and like I don't feel like I'm really hearing people talk about like queer games or queer people who are making games that much, so I just like kind of wanted to do that, and then it was also just kind of a blog so that I could write whatever kind of stuff I wanted to write without having to worry about like, oh, will this like land at an outlet. And then, it just kind of built from there. I brought Jess and Monty on to do the podcast with me and, kind of figure out writing and stuff. And Andrew came on to help with our video stuff. And we've just kind of built out from there. We have, counting me, there are 7 people who are part of Uppercut now doing various stuff. Wow. We just have a cool, fun community that doesn't suck shit, and also we have uppercutcrit.gay, so that's fun.
Yeah, I love that.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
It is no secret that Uppercut, beyond being my favorite gaming website, is also my favorite merchandise provider.
That's
for anyone
true.
who
Matt
follows
is
me
our
knows
unofficial model.
I am your unofficial model, because the minute y'all released a bi pride Be Gay Play Games tank top. I was like, well, that's mine now, and I'm going to wear it all the time. And I always get compliments on it. I love that, like, it seems like y'all are having a lot of fun and just wanting to not only, like, provide representation and, of course, thoughtful pieces, but also just kind of get stupid and have fun and like, make gaming fun, which it isn't always.
Yeah, especially because it's often like made not fun by like, you know, toxic culture. So yeah, we do try to, I think, like take back the amount of fun that we can from it, and we all are just like goofy shitposty people also. So like,
Yes,
we just all kind of throw that into, you know, what we do.
Yeah.
I feel like shitposting is important to current queer representation in gaming. I feel like we're all pretty good as queers, pretty good shitposters.
Yeah,
also,
shitposting is a path toward like internet self-care. Like, let's be honest. Like, if you're not shitposting every once in a while, how do you survive the internet?
I mean, also, Ty, you've become one of my favorite humans on the internet because you, like me, are a loud and proud monster fucker, and you know we can just never have too many of those people on the internet.
Yeah, there's not many people are willing to just say it, you know.
Oh, that they'd absolutely like boff the fish dude from The Shape of Water because I would.
Yeah, I feel like The Shape of Water was actually like kind of a weird come to Jesus moment for a lot of like male attracted women in terms of being like
so
you know
excited
what, this
for
fish
them.
guy is pretty fucking sexy, because I feel like
Wow,
I
I
saw
get
a
it.
lot of women being like, I would fuck that fish man, and I was like, you know what, fair enough.
Fair enough.
Get it.
I mean, like, the Beast was like my first crush, and I was like, turn back to the furry dude. Stop it. Who's this motherfucker? This is like
To be
Fabio
fair, the
wannabe.
human
Get
man
out.
has a weird face.
He has
The
the
human man is
weirdest
so
face.
weird.
Yeah,
I
like,
hate it.
Like, the
It's
Beast
so
is hotter
uncanny.
purely by the fact that, like, his face is simply less fucked up.
Yeah, he's a daddy. Come on.
Like,
Yeah.
they could
Well,
have
it's like-
they could have made that human man hotter, and they just didn't
Give
do
that-
it.
Just
They
like let
chose
him
not
have
to.
a beard.
They chose
like, that
violence
would've
against
helped.
the human beast.
Yes, exactly.
And his like eyes open, and you're just like, oh god.
What are you?
I open my shower curtain, afraid that he's gonna be there. That's the killer I'm always scared of. Human beast form.
Well, it's like the listeners know it's no secret that I love both Venom movies, and like a lot of my
Yeah.
friends are like, "Well, yeah, because Tom Hardy's hot," and I'm like, "Yeah, but Venom's hot. Like I'm also into Venom,
Yeah,
like
you're
actual Venom."
There's a lot of monster fuckers eat well with the Venom films, from what I've
Yeah.
heard. I haven't seen them yet, actually, but
They're just stupid and glorious. Like Venom was such. I love Venom. Venom's one of my favorite characters from comics. He's such a boring comic book character, and they gave him a personality and made him and Eddie Brock the odd couple, and it's
so
just perfect. It's glorious.
You say tomato, and I say tomato. Can't.
It's great.
How dare
Yeah,
you?
I highly recommend, knowing your love of monster fucking Ty, to definitely see those movies. Especially
Yeah.
if you have no attachment to Venom as a character. I think you would actually enjoy them.
I am the one man on Earth that loves the Clone Saga. But
Really? Oh, amazing!
yeah,
The what saga?
The Clone Saga.
That's where Venom. Well,
Oh.
Venom is not technically from that. Venom's backstory in the comics is way more interesting than anything any of the movies have done. It's so fucking
Yeah.
annoying. Literally, Peter Parker originally got the symbiote from a vending machine where he got a new costume after he got the shit kicked out of him. Like,
Yep.
in outer space. Like, that is where Venom originally came from.
So shitty vending machine.
Yeah,
in
he was. They were
space.
literally
I
like,
love
I don't
that.
remember why they're in space, but they were fighting some of the space marvels, and fucking their costumes got all fucked up. So they bought costumes out of a costume vending machine, and fucking Venom was in there.
I cannot wait for the Disney movie Space Marvels. I'm so excited for it. Feige, come on. Give me those Space Marvels.
That's what what's it called? Fuck, what was the really bad one? Inhumans?
Yeah,
Is that?
yeah, that was bad TV show.
Yeah.
Bad. That's so funny. I forgot about the vending machine shit. I mean, I love the Clone Saga. I also love like how the symbiotes get weirder and weirder as there are more spawns of them.
Yeah, I will say I prefer Carnage just because I like the idea of like, yeah, what if this fucked up thing was given to a real fucked up guy?
Yeah. It's an interesting concept. Well, if you're a diehard symbiote fan, then you may not like the movies, but if you can kind of like dissociate and just go, this is dumb, let it be dumb.
The symbiotes are dumb. Again, he came
Yes,
from a
it's
vending
true.
machine.
Yeah.
It's true. You're right. You make a good point.
That's some Douglas Adams bullshit right there.
He's like a fucking Snickers bar, dude. Like,
I'm just going to use that going forward when my friend's like, that's not my Carnage. I'll go, yeah, well, my Venom came from a vending machine.
yeah, my Venom is a fucking Snickers bar, man. Like,
My Venom wears glow sticks and is at like the gayest festival of all.
Oh, man. Oh, it's so good. So you mentioned podcasts earlier, Ty. You have a few, and I know one of the more recent ones that you've released is alongside a friend of certain POV, Kenneth Shepard, and it's about the Danganronpa series. What made y'all decide to? I mean, I know that you're both big fans of the series, but what made you decide now to do a podcast about these games?
well, excuse me. So the inside baseball of it kind of is that so last year I did we had a goal on Patreon to do like 2 limited run shows a year. And the first one that we did last year was a BioShock retrospective that I did with Funke, who now is at Fanbyte. And so we played all of the BioShocks in the year of our Lord 2020, and then we talked about them. And so then I was kind of, after that, I wanted to do another one. And I was kind of trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And I saw that Ken was kind of thinking about maybe pitching Danganronpa as an option for his retrospective podcast. But he wasn't sure if it was like going to be a good fit for the way that they do that show. So then I just kind of messaged him and I was like, hey, like, do you just want to do this with me for Danganronpa? And he was like, yeah. So
Amazing. Love it.
yeah, so that's what I spent the first like 7 months of this year doing.
That's awesome. I'm a very surface level with that series. I've played the first 2 acts, I think, of the first. I got past the first trial in the first game, and I love it. I haven't finished it yet. But it's like, talk about games and just weird horror stuff. Like that game series, even very early on, is just like kind of like a giant what the fuck while you're playing it.
Danganronpa is very good at like having a horror, like oppressive atmosphere without being like actually that scary. It's more just like, hey, wouldn't this be pretty fucked up? And you're like, yeah, it would be.
Yeah,
And then the game keeps going and just like escalating it, and you're like, yeah, that continues to be pretty fucked up.
I like the cool. We're in agreement. This is really messed up, right?
Yeah.
How about this?
That's kind of the conversations between the students. Like the first few hours of the games is like, this is all fucked up, right? We can agree that it's fucked up.
Yeah, that's like a big theme of Danganronpa is like, we can agree this is pretty fucked up, right? And those games are weird. They have a lot of like fucked up in the sense of being like problematic or like kind of harmful. They're very messy. It's a very messy series, but I'm glad that Ken and I got to like talk about it, because I came away from it having, I think, a better feeling on it than I did like when I finished the last game in the series the first time. So yeah, I don't know. There's a lot going on with those several games and an anime.
Yeah, I made sure before I started playing to find out the proper order, and so I'm going to go along that. But
if anyone is interested in listening to the podcast, we did do them all. We did all of the Danganronpa media with the exception of like the little side mini games within the games that people don't give a shit about. Read, I don't give a shit about. And oh, sorry, my dogs are screaming.
Oh, it's okay. No worries.
Hello.
I'm sorry.
Welcome to the podcast.
No, why are you growling? There's nothing to growl about. But so we did all of them in the like the quote unquote like, you know, correct order or whatever. So yeah, if you're wondering about that, it is correct. Missy, why are you screaming?
Puppy.
Yeah, these games are really problematic.
She's like, "Fuck this." She's literally just like rolling around, growling, and like rubbing her face on my couch.
Sometimes you gotta.
Sometimes you got.
Yeah, she's just decided that now is the time to scream.
I mean, your dog is one of the cutest dogs on the internet. I remember when you, because you got her recently, didn't you?
I got
Yeah.
her I got her last year.
Yep.
Yeah.
During a panini pet.
Yes,
A
both
panini
of
pet.
my babies are panini babies.
Oh my gosh, tell me about your panini babies, please. Tell me everything. Go on.
Yeah, they're white Shiba Inus and they're siblings from different litters,
Stop it.
and they're little monsters.
I love a Shiba Inu.
They're very cute. Every time Ty posts a photo of one of them, I'm just like, aw, baby.
Yeah, they're very, very cute, and they know it.
Yeah.
Look, if you've got it, flaunt it, right? You gotta.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask Ty, because you've written articles and done podcasts about like such a huge wide range of stuff. Do you have any like favorite articles, or I know it's like picking your favorite child, but like favorite articles or favorite subject matter maybe that like you've written about even recently?
Yeah, I mean, I guess recently I like most of the stuff I've written about Kingdom Hearts, honestly. I wrote
Hell yeah.
I can feel that.
Yeah, I think the Kingdom Hearts 3 Malignant one is good, but that one's a harder sell if you haven't, like consumed both of those things.
Right.
But I also, before Kingdom Hearts 3 came out, I wrote a thing about, kind of coming to terms with like being toxic about a franchise that you care about, and like having to come to terms with that and shit, and like realize that products are simply just products.
Yep.
And then I also, for Fanbyte, wrote about how like Kingdom Hearts kind of is like an alternate reality for the Final Fantasy characters where they get to have a better outcome. So if any of that sounds interesting, you can read that, because I am a Kingdom Heartsman.
I love that. I also love Kingdom Hearts. I love the whole franchise. I've played all of the games, though I still say that Chain of Memories is a bad game. Good story, bad game.
I like a card game, so I
Fair enough.
don't have the same issues that a lot of people do with Chain of Memories.
Sure. No, yeah, I know that it's absolutely just because I'm bad at card games like that. Like, I know that's
It's like
why
not a
I
very
hate
good card game, to be fair to everyone.
it. Fair enough.
I just enjoy. You put a card in front of me, like brain go burr.
Nice. Yeah, I've been considering getting, because I have Kingdom Hearts 3, but I don't own I own my PS2 still, but I don't have my copies of Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 anymore, so I'm thinking about buying the 1.5, 2.5 PS4 bundle. And
It's
like
coming
after
to
the
Switch
store.
too.
Yeah, but it's cloud, and I mean,
Oh yeah, I forgot about the cloud thing. Yeah, you're probably
It's
just better
cloud
looking
gaming.
at like PS4 or PS5, whatever you're.
Oh, that
Yeah.
you don't have like a downloaded copy of the game, or
correct. Yeah, Switch for games that are too powerful, like too graphically intense. They do cloud versions where you can stream the game, and like I've heard they work okay, but like I'd rather just buy the PS4 version for my PS5. I think that just would make more sense, probably.
Yeah, Dream
but,
Drop feels very strange to play on not the 2DS.
I was gonna say, like, because that was designed for the 3DS and
Yeah.
the 2DS, and like
Yeah.
I think I played it when it came out. I can't remember, but I definitely don't have it anymore. And I can't like did they just remove the touchscreen stuff from it? on
Yeah,
the
there's
PS?
no touchscreen stuff, and like obviously there's none of the 3D effect shit.
Right.
And just like,
Weird.
yeah, you can just tell the way that the camera is, and like when you're doing the flow motion stuff, like you can just tell it feels weird. It's not bad, like it's still doable, but you're like, this feels like, as someone who did, yeah, like I played the whole thing when it came out, I was like,
Yeah.
this feels worse than it did originally.
I'm sure. Yeah. I mean, I remember when I played 3.5. I can never get it right. 3.5 days over.
Oh,
something.
358 over 2.
There it is. I've never in the however many decades that's been out, I've never gotten the title right once.
It's fine.
I played that
Too
one.
many numbers. I don't.
Yeah,
It's a
my
stupid
brain
title,
can't.
so
But like I remember playing that when it first came out on the game. It was the DS, I believe. I was just like, what is this game? It was just like what I love about this series is it's both the most nonsensical and awesome thing at the same time, and I don't even care that I don't understand parts of it. I just accept it and enjoy it, which I know a lot of other Kingdom Hearts fans struggle with, like just accepting it and being like, it's Kingdom Hearts.
It's fine.
yeah, people who like complain about that part of it, I feel like don't get it. Like it's the same. I was talking to somebody about Riverdale and how like the point of Riverdale is that it's batshit. Like the point is that every season they are upping the stakes in ways you just could not have even imagined.
Yep.
And if you are not on board for that, then like it is simply not for you.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I started watching Riverdale because one of my friends, a friend of the podcast, Johnny Caligula, started explaining it to me, and I just went, this isn't real. This can't be.
Do you not remember that we had a podcast guest on who was talking
Yes,
about Riverdale
I
and
do.
was like, and then they time traveled, and I was like, I am in.
Previous guest Jesse Vitelli was
Thank
like,
you.
I was
Got
honestly
him.
so shocked that like when they did the first 2 seasons of the Riverdale Sabrina, that like they didn't do any direct tie-ins. Like there was no cameo, like no bullshit. I was like, what are we even doing here? Like
being bad at
like sorry,
at
spoilers
everything.
for the first 2 seasons of Sabrina, kind of, but
It's
like she
fine.
doesn't go to Riverdale.
Yeah.
And I was truly like, so what are we doing? What the fuck? Bring
Sabrina
them
goes to
together.
hell before
Give-
Sabrina goes to hell before she goes to Riverdale.
The serial killers access to black magic.
Come
what could
on.
possibly go wrong?
Bring Satan to Riverdale.
That's Satan. That's Satan though. Sexy.
Yeah, I
In
do like
Sabrina.
that he is literally Satan.
Yeah.
Bring him to
I do.
Riverdale.
Bring him. Why not? Bring him to Riverdale.
Put him
what
on the
could go wrong?
farm.
Come on the show, Satan. Come on.
I'd be remiss, Ty, before we wrap up, if I didn't ask you about the games you've been playing lately.
Yeah.
We've talked offline before about a ton of indie games and some other stuff that are queer forward. And are there any games that have really great representation that you're enjoying, or just really cool concepts that you're digging?
I have one of each.
Okay, great.
Okay, I don't know. Well, I'm gonna say I don't know if it's great representation, but there's a few queer characters in Murder by Numbers, and I know it was written by at least one queer person. And that game I kind of bounced off last year when I first started, and I was playing it on Steam, but I picked it up on Switch, and I simply think the Switch is a better platform for Picross.
Probably, yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, and it's been better. I think I'm actually going to finish it now.
Cool.
Yeah, and I've been liking. There's a lot of like you have to suspend your disbelief in a lot of the story. And it is still one of my original criticisms of it, and like why I bounced off of it was because it was a little bit too like cutesy, considering it's a game about like murder
And death, yeah.
But I still think that to a degree, but there is a little bit more groundedness like to it as you continue. I will say though, there is very direct like forced interaction with your abusive manipulative ex, and there's no content warning for that. So if that is something that is an issue for you,
Thank you for the warning. Because
Thank you for letting
I
us
really
know.
love Picross games, and I have a Switch, and I like both of those things, and I don't like the last thing though.
yeah, I was surprised because after the whole like boyfriend dungeon thing, I was like, and then playing this, I was like, oh wow, this is like a lot of like the same thing, which like I feel like the criticism that boyfriend dungeon did not have a good enough what's it called, content warning was valid, but like yeah, Murder by Numbers does not have one at all, and I didn't really see anybody talking about it, but yeah, like that is a very big part of the plot. And I think like, again, like Boyfriend Dungeon, I think it's purposefully doing something with it. And I think it's like, you know, an integral part of the story it's telling, but just so people are aware.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting us know. Yeah, that's good to know. Yeah, I remember hearing things about this game when it first came out, and it looked interesting. I'm not great at Picross games, but like this one, like the art design and the style looked really cool. And so
it also like it has an easy, like it has 2 difficulties, and so like I've been playing on the easier one, and like anybody can do it.
Okay,
It's real chill.
Oh, cool. Okay, that actually makes me really happy to know that.
Yeah, it's like it literally is just like, oh, like if you click the wrong box, it'll just like put the little marker that lets you know like, oh nope, like that's not it, and then you just like keep going. Like
Oh,
yeah.
nice. Okay.
and you can
It's
like
it's got
and you
go
can
ahead.
like toggle the hints on and off too as you want. So like
Oh, cool.
the difficulty
Yeah, it's
is
definitely
very
got that, like,
customizable, I would say.
Minesweeper
Minesweeper?
aesthetic where it's like, oh, you did it wrong, and then you know that that's wrong, and you sort of make your decisions from there. If you do want to start a Picross game, one that I really, really loved was Luna Picross 2. It's a mobile game. Like the music and the color palette is so relaxing that even when I'm just mad that I can't figure out the math, I'm just like, I love this. I'm so like, I'm charmed. It's playing on my mobile. Oh, I gotta re-download that game. Ugh. Shit.
And you said you had, Ty, another game that you're really digging.
Yes.
That's is this another indie game? Is this a AAA game?
I think it's an indie game, technically. I just started playing it today, but I'm already just like enamored with it. I've been playing Inscription,
Yeah.
which is just the coolest concept for a thing I've ever played. It's so neat. It's scary or like very like creepy and uncomfortable, but I described it to a friend who I was recommending it to as like if a creepypasta was holding you hostage and like DMing a tabletop session for you.
Ooh, that's a good way to describe it.
Yeah, because you literally are just like in this creepy cabin and it's like all in first person and you're playing. It's like a tabletop game, but instead of the Dungeons and Dragons style like experience sheet and all of that, you're playing different cards to get through the encounters, and then you're building a deck as you go. But the other character will even say like, you know, your next encounter or whatever. And all you can see of them is just like this pair of really kind of scary looking eyes.
Frightening.
And yeah, the whole rest of them is dark. And so then you're just basically trying to, you know, like get through this game that you're playing. But you can also at different points like stand up and walk away from the table and like mess around with stuff in the environment. And there's like a meta level to it as far as like what is going on. And there's like kind of an ARG-y feeling like there are secrets and puzzles. And it fucking owns.
Yeah, this for those who might know Pony Island or The Hex, it's the same creator.
Oh, I love Pony Island.
Yeah. So this is the same creator, so you know you're in for like some kind of weird ass shit and
Twisted shit.
Yeah, I've never played any of their previous stuff, but this is so far, I've only gotten past like the first boss, but so far it's very cool and I'm like eyes emoji, like what's going on?
Hell yeah. Do you think that this might inspire you to write something about it when you're done with it?
Yeah, I already have like a pitch written down for myself
Yeah,
on my
amazing.
desk. So
That's great.
yeah, it'll probably just be a little like short thing, but yeah.
That was the one last thing I wanted to ask was, are you able to still genuinely enjoy stuff without worrying about or thinking about pitching ideas, or do you have trouble separating like writer brain from playing game brain?
I mean, the thing that's made me an insufferable person for a long time is that I've always had writer brain on it, like even before I was writing in this capacity, you know what I mean? Like I was always the annoying person who was like, like, but this and this and this about this movie or whatever. That's like why I wanted to do this.
Yeah.
But that said, it's like pretty important for me to like take the time to just play stuff that like my brain is interested in. That's why I picked up Murder by Numbers. Just because if I don't, like, I do get pretty burnt out, and like most of my good ideas come from stuff that I'm like interested in or like having fun with, or like, you know, getting some kind of emotional response from. So I kind of have to keep like, you know, stoking that. Otherwise I just am like, well, blip, I don't have anything.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I mean, I think that sounds like it coexists pretty well in your brain.
Yeah, you know, we're getting there. I'm learning to manage
Love that.
things.
Always having to stay emotionally and creatively open to games. You know, definitely not a terrifying way to live.
No, nothing about the way I've lived my entire life in many ways has ever been terrifying.
Of course not. Why would it
No.
be? Well, Ty, this has been delightful. Thank you for joining us.
Ty.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This was really fun.
Before we wrap up and before we ask you our final question, please tell folks where they can find you and the stuff you do online.
So you can find me on Twitter at @Oathkeeper, and you can find Uppercut over at Uppercut Crit. And yeah, those are the two places where most of my shit is. So
Go do that. Follow Uppercut immediately. Go buy all their merch because it's the best merch on the planet, and give them money so they can keep making awesome shit. That's my pitch for Uppercut. Feel free to cut that out and use it.
An
all
ad.
right.
We made it for you.
We did it.
thank you.
You're welcome. So before we ask you our final question, we have some folks to thank. Rachel, let's thank some folks.
Hold on. I'm following Oathkeeper on Twitter, and it
Hell
took
yeah.
me no time at all. And you should do it too, listeners. I like doing that to just prove how simple and easy it is. You can do it while you're podcasting. Follow your comrades on Twitter. I want to thank my comrade, John Presnell, for the use of the song Aurora off the album Fair Game featuring Stefan Rimple. What a smash hit.
What a smash hit. Great song. Future guest eventually when he's not so busy. We also would like to thank the incredible Katie Bug, who designed our incredible show art logo and such. Katie is awesome. Katie makes awesome art. Go follow her on all the places. And we should probably also thank our keepers, our home away from home.
Our family group. Certain Point of View podcast network.
Good job. That was great. Excellent.
Thank you. This is a fine podcast indeed.
It's fine. The definition of fine podcasting.
Yeah. And you can let us know that this is a fine podcast by rating us and reviewing us on podcatchers. I saw that Spotify now has a rating system, so if you're listening on Spotify, you've already got your app. Because you're listening to me right now, just tap it. Tap that little 4-star. I won't even make you give us 5. Just 4.
Give us 5. We deserve 5, I think.
We deserve 5, but I'm not going to.
You're not going to make them. Yeah, if you write a review, it helps us to get featured in all sorts of places and grow this incredible audience. So please do that. Also, if you want to reach us, you can email us at screensnarkpod@gmail.com or follow us at screen_snark on Twitter. You can also go to certainpov.com and join our Discord server, where we have channels talking about TV and movies and spoilers for said TV and movies and games and books.
So we have one about dogs.
We have a channel for posting pictures, and so you can post pictures of your pets.
Post
where folks
pictures
often do
of your pets. I'll go there and I'll post pictures of this sleeping basset that is been so polite this whole time.
Barked in the beginning and now
barked for hours before we started. Now just like dead to the world.
Just chilling. Yeah, and please also check out the other shows at certainpov.com. We've got a bunch of different really cool podcasts that we do over there. So please feel free to go check those out. Now I will hand it back over to Rachel to ask our guest our final question.
My favorite part of the whole show. Ty, I'm very excited to hear this from you as someone who writes and dissects stories told in different ways. Ty, if you could choose one trope from movies and television to instantly and magically be true in your life, What trope would you choose?
Does a coffee shop like AU count?
What's an AU?
Oh, that's like a fan fiction term. I'm gonna go probably not then. Let's see. I'm trying to think of like TV or movie tropes that I like enjoy. I think probably like for myself, I would want like an anime rival.
Ooh, I love that.
Ooh.
Because I just feel like those are actually very productive relationships. Like at least in newer anime. Like
but not in all newer anime. Bakugo, you nasty, nasty boy.
I love that. What would your anime rivals deal be? Like, who would they be?
Yeah. Yes, please describe your anime rival.
I feel
in
like
detail
my
for
ideal
us.
rival is someone who's just like trying to do the same shit as me, but like be better at it, so that I can be like, no, fuck you, I'm gonna be better at it.
I love that. So
Write your best article about Kingdom Hearts and Malignant, so I know when I write a better one, I really beat you.
Yes, exactly.
I love that. They'll work at Down Per Cut Crit. An all straight website. I don't know.
That's every gaming website.
Yeah.
You're right. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Well, again, thank you, Ty, for joining us. This was delightful. It was so fun to have
Thank you,
on.
Ty.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I had a lot of fun.
And thank you to my incredible, beautiful, radiant co-host, the lovely Rachel Quirky Shank.
Oh, and thank you to my candy-colored class struggle co-host, Matt, a.k.a. Stormageddon.
I mean, I guess you could call me candy colored with my hair.
You're
stuff.
definitely candy-colored, and we are comrades. So
We are comrades. It's
we're
true.
we're in the struggle together
And
of podcasting and solving murders.
yeah, of course, obviously. God.
So we do.
Thank you to our incredible listeners. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
We will see you at the movies or probably on a couch somewhere. Bye-bye.
Hiding in your cushions.
Oh, God.
No, never.
God damn it, Rachel. All right, that's the show. I'm going to stop the Zoom recording.
Metal to magnet, she will be mine. Aurora.
Can you believe we've been friends for 7 years?
And it all started because I compared you to Alana the Lioness.
Tamara Pierce really set the tone of our friendship.
A love of magic,
Briar Moss,
fantasy,
Briar Moss,
powerful women, and of course,
Briar Moss. I'm Anna,
And I'm MJ,
and we invite you to join our Circle of Friendship.
where we do a chapter-by-chapter deep dive into the Circle of Magic series by Tamara Pierce.
We answer important questions like, how does Moonstream let certain dedicates take care of children?
Can you imagine anyone else but Mandy Patinkin playing Nico?
Knives, Briar?
And
Knives?
join us every other Monday at cofpodcast.libsyn.com or wherever you download podcasts.
But seriously, knives?
CPOV. CertainPOV.com.